On the show in Wheelspin, we drive the new Volkswagen Vento. In Wheelspin, we ride the latest addition to the Indian motorcycle range, the Scout. And on the road, we drive the Hyundai EON from Kolkata to Digha. Well, what I have with me today is the new Volkswagen Vento. Now, I didn't quite say this. It's actually the Volkswagen guys who insist that this is the new Volkswagen Vento. And since they say so, there has to be some changes to it. But it's a bit tough to spot them. Well, if it's taking you a bit of time to figure that out, then you are no different from me. I also took my time. Okay, let's play the spot the difference game. And here we go. To begin with, what I can see is the difference in the headlamps. This is what they call the dual beam headlamps. And even the grille is new with a chrome garnishing in it. Alloy wheels, okay, new ones, new design. But then I failed to spot anything else. So I come to the back of the car. Again, it's identical. Chrome garnishing on the boot is the only difference. Once inside, the first thing I notice is that the steering wheel has changed. It's flat bottom now, just like the one in the Polo. Okay, more stylish and looks sportier. Fine, but what about the rest? The fascia is almost the same. The instrumentation has some changes and now it has what they call the monochrome display. But the biggest addition is that it gets dual airbags. And this, I feel, is the one that makes a big difference, shall I say, between life and death. Yes, indeed, an airbag is what helps you either walk away in the case of the unfortunate thing happening or being carried away. So I will not ignore it. Instant commend Volkswagen for making this available in all the trims starting from the lowest one. Something which most manufacturers have failed to do. Great job, Volkswagen. Keep it up. I walked around the car, I sat inside the car, didn't find too many differences. Well, then I opened the bonnet and lo and behold, to my surprise, the biggest change lies here. The new Vento now gets a 1.5-litre diesel engine, the TDI, and what this has done to the car is transform a rather docile Vento into a total firecracker. Hold on, that's not the end of the changes. The engine is now mated to a 7-speed DSG gearbox. And what this means is that this Vento should be a lot of fun as far as driving is concerned. Time for me to get in behind the wheel. When you first fire the engine, it takes you completely by surprise. In fact, you have to look into the tachometer to make out whether this is a diesel or a petrol. There is no sound, there is no vibration, and it's perfectly quiet. You engage the DSG box here and start moving. And as you build up speed, nothing really changes. In fact, it does change. It becomes even quieter. I'm really amazed at the engineering of this car. There is nothing called noise, there's nothing called vibration, and there is nothing called harshness. It's perfectly smooth. In fact, so smooth that you feel sometimes you are gliding rather than driving. There is no engine noise. It sounds almost like a hybrid at times. This is the car for you if you are looking for a quiet, refined, vibration-free car. This is the one. And this DSG box is just wonderful. I think the combination of this diesel engine with this DSG box is just brilliant. It has made this new Vento into a total driver's car, and you will enjoy the experience of driving it so much that you will forget that you're paying so much for this car, in fact. And the amazing thing about this engine is that in spite of the fact that it is mated to an automatic transmission, it still gives you a very good fuel efficiency. According to ARI certification, you get over 21 kilometers to a litre, which is actually more than what you get out of its manual sibling. Amazing where these automatic boxes are going. Not only they have become extremely refined and very driver-friendly, but also they are very fuel efficient. Things have changed quite a bit in the last few years, I must say. The Vento is now available with various engine and transmission options, starting with the base 1.6-litre engine for the petrol variant, which churns out 105 PS max power. And then there is the petrol 1.2-litre TSI engine, which is the firecracker in the range, mated to a DSG box, producing a superlative drive. And then in the diesel, you have the 1.5-litre TDI manual with an identical 105 bhp on the tap and the same engine mated to the DSG gearbox as well. And this is what we drive. Although in terms of power, it is the same, but driving experience is quite different. If you want to have fun, then there is no doubt that your choice should be this new 1.5-litre TDI engine mated to the DSG box. And this is what makes the new Vento so very hot. It's true that this new Vento hasn't got too much of a cosmetic upgrade, but what it really got has turned this car into hot property. It got a brand new 1.5-litre diesel engine mated to a DSG gearbox, and I honestly can't think of any car which drives better than this in this segment. So if you're looking for drivability, then nothing really beats this Vento with the automatic box. Plus, in terms of safety, this new Vento ranks very high. It comes with 2 airbags, which no other car in this segment does. And in terms of creature comforts, it has all the features that you'd actually need in a car in this segment. But where it really falls short is in terms of pricing. For the money you would pay for this car, you can actually buy a car which is one segment above. And that will get you a car which is actually much bigger than this. But then it's up to you to see whether you want drivability or you want size. The Vento top-end 1.5-litre TDI with the DSG is priced at Rs 10.7 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi, while the base MPI petrol with a manual transmission starts at Rs 7.58 lakhs. What I'm riding today is not only the latest, but also the smallest motorcycle from Indian, who possibly are launching this machine to attract all those customers who were maybe a bit intimidated by the size of the motorcycles they're offering in the Indian market. But when I say small, it doesn't really mean small. If you look at this, this is the Indian Scout, and this is the latest motorcycle which is an addition to their range. And I must say, small she might be, but she looks really, really beautiful, doesn't she? If you're looking for a motorcycle with a lot of heritage and history, then the Indian motorcycles will be what you will be looking at. After all, it is one of the oldest motorcycle brands, which has survived and adapted to the changing world of motorcycling needs as well as technology. This American brand is now owned by Polaris, well known for making the all-terrain vehicles, or what are popularly called ATVs. Polaris entered India in 2010, but it was only this year that they brought this iconic range of motorcycles to India. In the process of brand building, they first brought in the big ones, the Indian Chief Vintage, the Classic and the Chieftain. And now, to get a bigger share of the premium motorcycle market, they have brought in this smaller Scout. The Indian Scout here is powered by 1133cc V-twin motor, which churns out 100 brake horsepower and a near identical 98 Newton meters of torque. And if you look at the spec sheet, these figures might appear very modest, but things change drastically when you start riding it, because this motor is extremely refined and the power delivery is very, very linear. Add to this a lightweight chassis which makes maneuverability a breeze even if you're caught in city traffic. On the highway, she gets to the cruising speeds quite easily. So in fact, it's a pleasure to ride this machine. Power from the engine is transmitted to the wheels via a 6-speed gearbox, which is easy to shift. And for stopping, the Scout uses twin caliper discs in the front and the rear too being a disc as well, but with single calipers equipped with anti-lock braking system. What really adds to the rideability of the Indian Scout is the easy riding position, pulled back handles which are easy to grab, a padded seat here, footrest position aft in true cruiser style, and the riding position is very low. In fact, this is one bike which is really easy to ride. No matter where you are riding, you'll enjoy it as much in the city traffic as on the highway. The Indian Scout measures in at 2.3 meters, which is almost the wheelbase of a small hatch. But she looks elegant with twin exhaust and flowing bodyline, which merges perfectly with the rest of the motorcycle. In terms of design, she's exactly what a good-looking motorcycle should be. And one thing that really impressed me is the build quality. It is really well made with quality materials, and right from the paintwork to the chrome and the switch gear, it exudes a sense of a machine which is indeed very well crafted. And I guess this is what will eventually help justify the price tag on the bike. After having ridden this Indian Scout here for a while, all I can tell you is that this is one bike which is easy to ride and even own. Forget about the fact that she has got bigger siblings, because being big is about pleasing your ego. Being practical is what makes sense, and in this sense the Indian Scout can be a perfect bike for you because she is easy to ride, she looks great, and the 1133cc motor here is extremely eager to please you. What might just go against your owning one is the fact that she will cost you around rupees 13 lakhs on road, and that's a lot of money for many people. The Indian Scout will be priced at rupees 11.99 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi, making her not only the smallest but also the cheapest Indian motorcycle in the Indian market. The city of Kolkata means different things to different people. For some, it's a dirty, overcrowded metro, while for some, it's a city full of architectural heritage, a place to ride in the antiquated trams and to have your fill of Rasagollas, things that define this teeming metropolis of Kolkata and the people who live in it. But to me, Kolkata means another thing. It's the gateway to the east and to places which are as diverse as hill station, beaches or places of great learning and culture. And I am off to one such place. Well, it's not exactly I, it's rather we, because Lisa's going to join me on this trip after she finishes what she calls a quick tour of Kolkata. And on this trip, we will be driving the smallest compact from Hyundai, the EON. And I say really small's beautiful because this is one car which helps me dart through the mad traffic of a city like Kolkata very fast. And driving this, I feel like a quick hare, driving a small car rather than driving a big car and feel like a clumsy tortoise. So I say this is the car for you if you're driving on the crowded streets, and I think on the highway she's going to perform just as well. And now I think it's time to move on. Of course, if Lisa decides to show up quickly enough.
I know Rajiv won't be too pleased if he finds out, but how can you come to Kolkata and not have Rasagollas?
Ah, finally you are there. So glad to see you.
But it's so beautiful here. There was so much to see.
Then I tell you what you do. You stay behind in Calcutta. Me and my EON can go.
No, I want to drive. I want to come with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I don't even know where you're going.
I haven't told you where we are going? Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll give you 3 clues. And if you get that right, you get to drive. Alright? First clue, this is a place by the sea. Number 2, it's about 180 kilometers from Kolkata. And number 3, it's very popular with the people of Kolkata. And you know what? I'm feeling a bit generous. So I'll give you a 4th clue as well. It's on the Bay of Bengal. Can we get it out?
Yes, the answer is Digha.
Well, she earned her ride. You earned your ride, all I can say. The problem with smart people is that they know everything, so it makes all the more difficult to get rid of them. And now she will want to drive the EON too. I really like driving the EON, not only because she is easy to maneuver in city traffic, but she is also quite fast once you are on the open stretch of road. And what I know I will like is of course the fuel efficiency, as this will help me save some money. Time for some lunch. What do you say?
All right.
Okay, let's go for it.
If the rasagullas had my mouth watering, then the sight of the fish brought a real twinkle to his eyes.
The best part about driving through the East Coast is, of course, the food. Even if you pull into a roadside eatery, you are served some sumptuous food, and it will easily compare with a star-rated restaurant, provided, of course, you happen to be a non-vegetarian. If that's so, then you're sure to enjoy this, and it's rather cheap too. Time for me to tuck into some delicious rice and fish curry. After such a sumptuous lunch, normally it should have been the time for a well-earned afternoon siesta. But this EON compels me to drive on, and I just can't wait to see the beaches of Digha.
You know, Rajiv, I feel really safe being in this car.
That's only because I am driving.
No, it's because I can see that there's airbags in the car. And I think this must be one of the safest cars of its size in the market. I think it's just great that Hyundai's put airbags even in its smallest model, you know. Definitely it's a step in the right direction. Really commendable.
Sometimes even smart people can think right. In fact, I'm quite impressed with what Hyundai has done. It's time, I think, manufacturers pay attention to the safety, and I'd love to see airbags in smaller cars. Soon we arrive in Digha. In a car that drives so well, the distance of 180 kilometers took even less than the planned 4 hours. But having arrived in Digha, it was time to split our duties. And I, as usual, volunteered for the tough one. I decided to check out the beaches, while Lisa would take care of the art, culture and places to see kind of things. Touristy stuff, you know. Finally, I get to see the beach. But unfortunately, I have to leave this car here as cars are not allowed on the beach. And that's a pity because I hate the idea of walking. Makes me wonder why wheels were invented if I have to walk so much. More so because the Digha beach does support motor car. The subsoil under the sand is very firm. In fact, I can swear I've seen a light airplane landing here many years ago. But not so anymore, as the beach really gets crowded during the tourist season and it's difficult even to walk. Forget about driving a car. So it's time for me to walk, and that's a hard job, but then somebody's got to do it.
Digha is essentially a sleepy little seaside town. Now, since it runs along the coast, there are numerous beaches to choose from, so you can take your pick as to where you'd like to spend the day. It's basically divided into Old Digha and New Digha, and I'm told that New Digha is where all the action is. But since Rajiv is the resident beach expert, I think I'll leave it to him to figure it out. Now, I'm meant to go sightseeing, and I believe that there's an aquarium nearby, so I'm going to go see what they're like. Up in a small town like I did, stingray and all kinds of colorful fish, but photography is prohibited, so unfortunately I can't take you through them myself. So if you're traveling in Digha with your kids, definitely stop by, and then after you see the exhibit, you can also walk around the beautiful gardens that the property has. So definitely worth the stop.
All this walking around the beach really tires me out. I'm not much of a walking person. I'd rather go driving than walk. But then, if you're the kind of a person who loves beaches, then Digha is the right place for you. There are plenty of beaches to choose from, and at this time of the year, the water is perfect in terms of temperature. But if you do go swimming, be careful because the sea does get rough at times. But now it's time for me to do what I do best, which is to relax and laze under these beautiful trees and sip some coconut water. I'm sure Lisa would be a little jealous when she finds out how busy I've been. Ah, my wish is granted. Thank you. Coconut water, just what I needed. Ah.
Digha is full of beaches to choose from. It's situated near the border of West Bengal and Odisha, so the beaches extend into both the states. And it's possible to find a really quiet one if you venture off the beaten path. If you're lucky, you might even spot these unusual red crabs scuttling about on the sand, like we did.
So at the markets in Digha, you can buy all these beautiful curios made of seashells, like lamps and mirrors decorated with seashells, jewelry made of shells. So there's really something beautiful to take home with you if you come shopping here. But I have to say that bargaining goes a long way, so do use your skills of persuasion to your advantage. Let's see what I can buy this for. Digha has no dearth of places to stay or places to eat, and that's just as well because there's something for every budget here. This is basically a very economical place for a holiday, and speaking of holiday makers, I better go check what Rajiv is up to.
Oh well, all good things have to come to an end. Let's see what Lisa is up to.
Hey, so how's it going? What have you been up to?
I've been very busy, you know, walking around the beach. I even measured the depth of the water. So, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah? How did you do that? Measure the depth of the water?
Oh, you have to be a very good swimmer to do that. You have to go to the bottom and even come out. You know, it's a hard job.
I can tell you've been really working hard.
Yes,
today.
that's right.
Yeah.
I think you need a drink too.
I do.
You have been working very hard. Maybe let me get you some coconut water.
I'd love that.
You stay right here, okay?
Thanks, okay. ये क्या? साफ कर दिया। अच्छा साफ कर मैं देती हूँ पैसा। 4 coconut water, 2 पानी, 2 ice cream, 2 chips. Wow, he's been really busy. Well, it's time for us to leave the shimmering waters of the Bay of Bengal, but I must say that Digha is a destination that's both lots of fun and very affordable. And it's also really easy to access from Kolkata. It's a very pleasant drive, especially if you have a nice compact like this to take you here. She was so easy to maneuver around, especially on the city roads and the narrow roads leading to Digha. So she was a joy to drive, and the best thing is that I now have the keys to the EON. So do join me next week as I drive to another exciting destination.